It's a new day in Brooklyn, and new days bring new stores. And I'm about to go to a new store called Peace+Riot. Talk to the owner, Achuziam. Come join me.
I'm LoxLaRox. I'm on a journey. And this is LoxLaRoxCity to discover the artist way. This is LoxLaRox. Come with me on my journey. Come with me to LoxLaRox artist on my journey to find the artist way.
So, Achuziam, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Peace+Riot. That's a loaded name. Can you tell me what this name is about?
Well, Peace+Riot was actually supposed to be the name of a band that my husband and I were going to have. For a minute, we started this project, and then life happened, and we got married, and then we got pregnant, and now we have a 3.5-year-old. So that's our other Peace+Riot. But when the space became available, he said, listen, we own that domain name. I think we should go ahead and call the store Peace+Riot. So this is our new baby.
So Peace+Riot is like a theme in your life, an ongoing theme that's in your life then?
Pretty much. And I think both of those things are coexisting for us every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how easy was it to start your own business?
Paperwork is easy, but then you find out how much things cost and it hurts. The rents are much higher. I used to have another store called Ebo Landing, and that was only a few blocks from here. It was twice the space, and I'd say 60% of the rent.
Really?
You know, all of these things that I learned in school about business and marketing kind of didn't apply because the neighborhood was in such a strange state of transition. So you have people who are waiting on a check every month, living next door to someone who's making $150,000 a year. And then to decide which person is my customer and just make sure I target them. So now, because of the demographic change, there are more people who are doing better, I'd say, who are a little more affluent here.
Okay.
But at the same time, a lot of the new tenants, I would say, they're tenants. They're very transient, so it's not as many homeowners as I had before. And the way they invest in their home is very different from someone who owns a brownstone.
Speaking of strange transitions, 492 Nostrand Avenue is the former home of True South Bookstore, which specialized in African American and ancient African history. But in the summer of 2013, tragedy struck when the owner, Monroe Brown, suffered a sudden stroke and brain aneurysm. His son, Achuziam Brown, tried to save the shop by holding a fundraiser and reaching out on social networks, but they couldn't afford the newly raised rent, which led to the early 2014 opening of Peace+Riot.
Where are you from?
I was born in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I was born in Brooklyn. My father's side is Nigerian. My mother's side is West Indian, Barbados, and Jamaica.
Okay.
And I was raised in Crown Heights, East Flatbush, that borderline over there.
All right.
And but my family, my grandmother, has owned the Brownstone here, right across the street from the store, since 1937. I mean, my inspiration kind of comes from everywhere. Music is a big thing for me. So I'm the worst person to watch television with because I'm the one looking at the set all the time.
Yes.
And
That's me too.
I used to be, I was a big soap opera fan back in high school, and I drove everyone crazy. I said, did you notice how her outfit matches his outfit? And then those drapes, it's like,
You're taking it out of the fantasy of what they're watching.
Exactly. When I was younger, my father, horrible design sense. He could dress really fly.
Yeah.
But the house was a mess, and just 10 million picture frames on the wall. We just would go crazy.
Oh, wow.
Why does the room look so nuts?
You need to order.
Yeah, and then I would come over here to visit my grandmother, and she's in this gorgeous brownstone, with the original fireplaces and everything, all red carpeting, very traditional, but everything was just so. And I said, there is a way to live, right?
Yeah.
I want to live like that. Even back then, I used to always look and, Thanksgiving was the big spread, and we'd have the grapefruit as an appetizer. Everything was all set up. I mean, really big spreads, very formal, so that there's a way things are supposed to be done. And it just always got me excited. So, wow, I'm going over there and sit a certain way and cloth napkins.
Yeah, so the structure of it all.
I love that. I love that. I love all the pomp and circumstance of it. So, yeah.
What does BedStuy mean to you as a community?
BedStuy Well, it has new meaning for me. My earliest experiences with BedStuy was coming to see my grandmother for Easter. There used to be an Easter egg hunt in the middle of Hancock Street in that lot, and all the children were dressed from church with their bonnets and the black patent leather shoes and everything. Got a basket and we hunted for eggs. I mean, it was just a really glorious family tradition that was here. My grandmother used to also host an open house on Sundays. So she'd cook a big spread of food and just open the doors up and anybody could come in and eat food.
Wow.
Yeah, so now it's a very different thing, you know. So I have my husband and I have a 3.5-year-old son. And we say good morning to all our neighbors. Most of them say good morning back, but it's very different. You know, people seem like they're in a rush.
Yeah.
There aren't children really playing in the middle of the street the way they used to.
Right.
But the community is still here. It's definitely still here.
When did you officially decide to start doing interior design?
My very first job, I shouldn't say that was my first job, but I worked for Bed Bath & Beyond. They put me in the luxury bedding department, and I was selling $1,000 duvets and comforters. It was ridiculous. And a customer came in and said, I love this display that you guys have. What should I get from this display? And I thought the display was dreadful, but that's just me. But I said, well, the one thing I liked was the pillow. I said, if you get the pillow's really cool. The pillow was $150, maybe $200 for a little pillow. And he said, all right, I'll do it. I was gasping because I can't believe that anybody spends that kind of money on a pillow, but I started to understand what it was. So anyway, he bought the pillow and he says, you sound like you do this. And he hired me. So that was my first job. And it was in London Terrace Gardens. And he said, okay, tell me how the bed should look. And I did the bed. And then he says, how should the room look? And we did the room. And then it was the rest of the apartment. So that was my first job. And that made me start looking out and seeking out projects.